Today's episode continues the conversation with my friend Julie, and we talk about more stories, more war stories, and admit that dating sucks and online dating really sucks. So I hope you'll listen and get some more ideas. And in the next episode, I will do a dating wrap up and put these in more of a format that might be easier to use and listen to over and over so that you can know what to expect, especially if you're new to online dating. But I hope the stories that we talk about today are entertaining, because even though online dating is difficult, and I guess just dating in general, if you're lucky enough to meet somebody in person, online dating is like the worst kind of blind date, because no one knows the person that you're going to go meet, and you're not even sure that. So enjoy today's episode, and leave your comments or questions for Julie, because she's quite the expert, on my Instagram page, RediscovHER. I used to think that it bothered me that I wasn't going to see that person anymore, but then I realized it's not really the person that I missed. It's the disappointment that I feel like, oh, another guy, another thing, another situation. And there's going to be a lot.
A lot.
It's just, it's just knowing that and developing a tough skin, which maybe I could call it this. Anyway, I was going to do an episode on developing a tough skin.
Yeah.
Because you have to have a tough skin.
Oh, absolutely.
Or you're going to be a mess.
I think now we just laugh when anything like that happens. We're like, oh yeah, that idiot, whatever.
Yeah.
It's just, we laugh about it. We literally call each other, I think, just laughing. Because it's like, there goes another one, or like, or something they did or whatever. It's just, there's always another one to replace them. And there's the ones that keep coming back because you're crazy.
But it's good for your ego, right?
It is.
You come back and like,
which is nice. Right. It makes you feel better, There's going to be the guys that you're not into, and you just.
Right. And I used to tell my girls when they would be upset, because I'm like, the reason why we like other people is because of something, how we've grown up, something in our past, something that we saw, maybe the way our dads look, their build, or somebody wonderful saw who knows. You can't ever take personally if you're not a person's cup of tea.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. It's just like somehow that is not what is their image.
And that's fine.
And we're the same way with guys.
Oh,
right?
Absolutely. We're the worst.
Yeah. That may be true.
Oh gosh. No, but it's true. I wouldn't take personal offense. Like if somebody told me, and they could do it in a nice way too. They'd be like, I think you're absolutely gorgeous, but you're just not my type.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Like you don't need to be everybody's type, because the one that you are the type, hopefully eventually you'll like them back.
And hopefully you'll show up soon. That would be nice. That'd be nice.
Well, because like we all have our weird types. Like, I mean, that's another thing too, is like, Mary, Beth, and I both have a list of things that a guy needs to meet. Otherwise, we won't even, and there's also sometimes that random one that you just like. And that's kind of fun too, because it could be the person that you end up with. You never know. Like I have a set type, but I've dated outside of it.
I have a set type.
Yeah, you do. No, we won't talk about that. But so it's fine. It's okay to, like if you're attracted to someone's personality, it's a good thing to try too, because you can develop attraction towards that. And that's another thing too, is another good thing to keep in mind. And this
reminds me of a name I have for somebody. This is really bad.
Which one is it?
I can't say it out. I'm not going to say it out. I'm not going to put it out there.
Oh gosh.
Anyway.
Yeah, we've had some bad nicknames.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that. But everyone has. Okay,
This one he couldn't. He really couldn't help it. He might have worked out. He could have helped, but he couldn't really help.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about. That's great. Oh, and what's funny? That's another thing too, is usually a lot of times the ugly ones are the really cocky ones.
Oh yeah, he thought he was. Really
oh, he did.
hot
Oh
shit.
gosh,
yeah, he did.
That face mask. Oh, anyways,
the one in the gym.
He just goes to the gym to get the free brownies in the lounge. That's about it.
And he taught me, which because I didn't know about this, about web-based phone numbers. He would constantly, because I would constantly block him and
Big,
stop bothering me, and he would find those
huge red flag web-based phone number. That is 100% red flag. Unless they're from out of the country, they just moved here, something like that, or they explain like, hey, this is my web-based. Absolutely, they're cheating.
How do you tell though?
I have no idea.
Cheating. Oh. Well, yeah. So a lot of times
they're hiding something now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If it's a guy, I do it for because I don't want to give out my real phone number. Sometimes I do. I give them a web-based phone number because I want to give them a fake phone number because you can find people. You can find out where people live by their phone number.
That's a smart way to. Okay, so but men aren't going to be doing that. They're going to be doing it for the wrong reason.
No, there's some crazies out there.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're going to be doing it for the wrong reason.
Yeah. If they give you a web,
they're doing it for the wrong reason. Women, I can understand protecting. They don't want to find out where they live, especially if they're alone. That's safer that way.
Yeah.
Another, what was that point I was going to say?
We're talking about. Well, I don't know.
I think another good thing to keep in mind. This is the lesson that we try to yell at each other on the phone for to do this.
Well, I remember you were telling me about somebody.
Okay.
But you really hadn't mentioned him too much.
No, that's another thing too with redating. If it didn't work out the first like 5 million times, it's probably not going to work out. Because I've had people, I've dated, you date again, like, okay, maybe I'd be more mature and like I like them. It's like because they're good people and they're good guys, and but sometimes it's just not going to work. Like you can like somebody and care about somebody and just not want to be with them.
So what about this guy?
We were just trying to, I think the whole point of that whole conversation before we figured out, we were just trying to encourage each other to look past certain aesthetic things that aren't as pleasing. Because if they're a good person, they're going to treat you well with respect, and they're a good person. Sometimes you should look past certain aesthetic things. Like, I mean, even if it's like a certain scar or something around them, like you have to remember that you have those too. Like I used to be really picky about, I still am really picky, but like certain things, and I'm like, okay, well, I have a chicken pox scar there. They overlook that, and you have to be nicer and understanding because they're human too. Like as long as they're a nice person, they treat you well, then you should try. Right? I mean, nice.
I don't know who she's talking about. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm just in general.
Oh, okay.
This one's just a general one. Like just like you should. I don't know. As you get older, you kind of don't. You can't go all for looks. Definitely don't go all for looks.
Yeah, but I can't. I always tell guys are like, "What do you think? Do you think I'm cute?" I don't know. They won't say that exactly, but they'll say something. I'm like, "Well, I don't date ugly men." Like,
no, you have to be
too many fish in the sea.
No, you have to be attracted to the person.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying if something like, as long as it's like I said, you always make a list of certain things you're not willing to accept. But if they're okay, like they're chunky or something like that,
Yeah. I thought we both I
like chunky. No,
I do too. Yeah. I like chunky. I do not want to be with some gym rat who's like looking at himself in the mirror all the time.
Because then they're gonna make you go to the gym.
Oh. Then they're too selfish and self-centered.
They're not usually not everybody, because a lot of people are just into the healthy lifestyle, and if you are, that's good, great for you. But
that's different than being one of those gym guys.
If they're like I said, if they're taking more selfies than anybody, then automatically narcissistic and everything. And then what are they going to expect you to go to the gym with them or start telling you to go to the gym? Like no, I personally love chunky guys.
Yeah, I don't ever want anybody to tell me that I need to work on something with my figure, or that or that I need to eat fewer hamburgers or more, or any of that. If they're criticizing any part of my physical appearance,
absolutely not. No, you want somebody. We always say, like you said, or like I said, that thinks the sun shines out of your house.
And it doesn't mean that I think I'm perfect. I know that I'm not perfect.
Exactly.
But they better like me. If they don't like me enough to be okay with what I look like, oh heck,
they better think you're perfect and within reason. Just like you can. What is it? You can love. You can't love a perfect person, but you can love an imperfect person perfectly. You want them to like appreciate that. Like that's why I like dating bigger guys, because you know what? They're not going to tell me no tacos.
Right? Yeah.
They're going to be like, hey, are you going to eat more? You want this taco?
You want to be around somebody who likes what you eat.
Yeah, and I always like somebody. I don't like pretty boys. That's my own preference, but I have to be the pretty one.
Yeah, right. You don't want them to be better looking than you.
No, because then you're walking around and that's embarrassing. I mean, but if you like that, that's fine. You're allowed to. That's another thing. You're allowed to like what you like. I love big boys.
Me too. I like a real man. I remember my girls used to be like, ew, chest hair is so gross. And I'd be like, well, I like a real man.
Like I said, that's something you don't want to accept. But yeah, like, we like manlier men, but you all have your own preference. Cause I know, I have friends that like pretty boys, or, my best friend loves, she didn't marry one, but she loves bald head, beards, like just big, like motorcycle looking dude.
Yeah.
She loves that.
Really?
She did not
But she
marry.
didn't marry one?
Oh no, frat boy. She married a frat boy. But they're a great match. You see them together. So that's why I said you just because you like a certain type doesn't mean you'll end up with them.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's always nice to, if you meet a guy that you have a good conversation with, give it a chance. Why not? The worst thing, you'll get free food. You get stuff.
Well, I think that's a good way to tell what a person is like, is go out to dinner with them and eat the way you would eat if you're with a girlfriend.
Oh yeah.
Eat the bread out of the bread basket. That to me is like, if they're going to be like, oh, I only have like a half a piece. And you're like, I want 2 pieces. If they give you any of that indication, or they're like, no, we don't want dessert, or, oh, you're drinking a soda, or if they give you any of that, I'm like, we'll never work.
We're drinking your second glass of wine.
Oh, well, I don't drink alcohol. So I just go on Coke, but yeah.
But no, they shouldn't judge you on that. Like, if anything, they should like a woman with an appetite. Because I mean, at this point, especially even by the time you get, to your age, it's like you should want to be comfortable, and like, it's life. Nothing is not everything, every aspect of your life is pleasant. So you might as well find joy in what you find joy in. Yeah,
exactly. I don't think at the beginning, like, I think it's okay for women to tease men a little bit, give it a little bit of a hard time. But if a guy gives me a hard time, or criticizes me, or judges me, that's just, can you imagine if as time goes on, how bad that would be?
Oh, it gets worse.
That's not for me. Yeah. They shouldn't. No.
And
they should be like, they should be grateful that you're dating them.
Exactly. Yes. No, that's why like, it's like, whatever. Well, another thing too is like, if you have a hobby, like I'm obsessed with Disney personally. Yeah. And if some guy was ever like, that's childish, whatever. Yeah. To the curb. Right. You want somebody that like, okay, they just like, if they love golf or something that you don't find the most interesting, you want to appreciate the hobby or something, and think it's funny. Like, dating a guy that, it's like, oh, like, look at this, like, because I also love Harry Potter. If they're like, oh, look at this Harry Potter thing, and it's cute that they're thinking of you. And the same way, it's like, if they like golfing, you're like, oh, look at this golf, like, I think of you. Like, that's a good indication. But if they're making fun, like, that's a stupid hobby, Disney's stupid, or whatever. Even if it's you like reading books or whatever you like to do, right? Sewing, collecting pins, whatever you like. I don't know. But it's just like, if they think that's stupid, that's a bad indication too. Because it's you can be like, in your head, think that's stupid, but you're not going to tell the person that, because that's something they really care about. Yeah. You need to talk to your girlfriends, like, what is he doing? Oh gosh. I wanted to when you said that before, is that we talk to each other. I think it's really important, if you're going to be out there dating, that you have somebody you can share your stories with and bounce things off of, because it's going to not make sense half the time, at least. And it makes you feel better too, because it does. Because the other person's probably been through something like that. So you kind of know that you're not alone in this terrible fiasco of dating. Right. Which is why I started this podcast, because I want, if there's people that need to learn this, or they need to have someone to talk to, hopefully they'll leave comments or something. Contact me on my Instagram, RediscovHER. So wait, there was something else I was going to remember say. You're not alone in this terrible. No. Ask anybody about online dating and they'll tell you it's a horror story. But where do you meet people, especially now during COVID? Like, or you see people with a mask on, you don't know what they really look like. Yeah. They could not have enough teeth. We're big on teeth. I think it's funny, that thing that you can call a guy daddy, right? Oh, gosh. Okay. All right. Well, I think it's funny. So this, and sometimes certain kinds of guys will be like, you can call me daddy. So, so the other night I was talking to somebody who said that. And so at the end of the conversation, I said, well, bye, daddy. And he's like, that wasn't sexy. We're going to have to work on that. I was like, okay, that's strike number 2. Yeah. Done. Because there's a way to say things. Imagine? Can you imagine saying that? Listen, now, if someone like, okay, like, that was a, well, the thing that gets me, that was modeled. Oh yeah. He's an idiot. Yeah. Nah. Well, another thing too is like, so, like, the right guy would think, just like, babe, really, that's cute that you're trying. And they can say it like that. They can find a way to tease you at that and just be like, babe, I said it's cute that you're trying, you're new to this, whatever,
Yeah.
but like I mean, come on, I'm goofy and I like weird stuff. Like what did I come in an outfit today? Like I think the other day I mistakenly
Neon
wore
shoes.
neon shoes, a
Yeah.
leopard print,
Yeah.
like very eccentric personality. So, and like,
And you dress up for Disney. That's
I
so
love,
fun.
yeah, exactly. But you want a guy that thinks it's funny. Like, the guy I'm seeing now, he loves it. He's just like, I think he's like, I'm probably not going to dress up, but he's like, I love that you love it enough to dress up. You want somebody that likes the weird stuff about you. That's because that's something that makes you you.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's true. So,
I mean, if he thought that, all he had to do was laugh.
He could have like, haha, babe, like, or something like, hey, like, we'll work on that. Like something funny, but no, like don't, somebody that's going to put you down. And that's what he tried to do.
Say it. That was like, really?
No, there's a way to say it.
Oh, I don't know. I never called anybody daddy before.
Yeah, like there's ways to say something. If they're automatically doing it like that, you don't.
Then what I did?
Oh,
I sent him that Jim Morrison, The Doors, called Lover Madly. And so one of the lines in Lover Madly is, do you want to be your daddy?
Oh my gosh, what did he say?
He just did some stupid like thumbs up or aha or something.
And you don't want a guy like that. That's not going to be. You want like you want somebody that likes you for you.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to be in a fake relationship, like I dated somebody that was like obsessed with the gym, and he was crazy, always trying to. I think he used to call me, and I'm not out of shape. I love to eat, but I'm not out of shape. You call me skinny fat, and like. You think any other guys called me that? No. Are
you kidding? The other guys around here are like this.
No, exactly. And that's why when he said that, I was like, same guy that remember he used to go. I remember he would go on spring break and hang out, with his friends and stuff, and he would say something like, "Oh, you're not," because I wouldn't go with him. He'd be like, "Oh, you're not afraid of me finding somebody?" And I'd be like, "Good luck finding someone better than me." A. B, but you need to go into it with that confidence because know that you're a woman, and even if you don't find yourself or you don't think you're pretty enough or whatever, you are pretty enough for somebody. Somebody will appreciate that about you.
Yes, and you only want those guys who think you are a stunner.
You should be God's gift to men.
That's right. You want
someone treat you like that.
Yeah, you bet. So there was one other thing I was thinking of when we were like talking about model guy. He one of the things that he's what? Oh, I don't know. Everybody who saw his picture was like, "Oh, he's a player."
Oh, like,
well, of course he is. That's the guys I like because they're really good looking and they have great personalities at the beginning. And so that to me draws me in. I know I have to stop that. But anyway, so one thing that he did, which I've had other guys do this too, is they'll send you a good morning text, which is nice, except he would always send these very not personal, very impersonal, generic. So you can be sure that he was
copy and pasting it.
Yeah, of course. Sending out basically a group text. And because it's very happy hump day, good morning with flower. Good morning, sunshine.
My gosh, yes. I forgot. There was some meme on that. It's like when I wake up in the morning, got to send like my 5 good morning texts and stuff like that. It's true. That's another not a good thing. To do.
No. So that was one thing that you got under my skin. But the thing is, if you call them out on that, they'll be like, "What are you talking about?" Because you can't prove it. It's fun when they do something gross and then you can prove it. Like the guy who messed with my daughter. He always wanted me. He never wanted me to feel secure. He always kind of wanted me to know that he was like, see it like, but he would never admit to that. He would never. But it was just his demeanor was kind of like, "Hey, I'm a player. I can get anybody."
And you don't want anybody like that. No, because that's disgusting.
Not anymore. But back then, he was like one of the first guys I dated. I was willing to put up with that. Because I didn't really know what I was up against.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this too. Because if I'm that clueless, I'm sure there are other women that clueless who don't know.
And you also didn't think that people would always come back too.
Yeah. Well, and you just think, when you come out of a marriage and stuff, you think, unless your husband was a cheater, which mine was not at all, you think that you can trust people. You think that they're telling you the truth. You have no idea what you're up against. The liars and the cheaters.
Some of the stuff they lie about would be the dumbest stuff too. Like, gosh, I'm trying to think of some dumb, like they'll lie about anything. That's the worst part. Anything. Like, oh yeah, that, who was it? I think it was, I'll say the name on this one. I don't care. Thomas number 1. So I dated 2 guys back to back, both named Thomas. So we say Thomas number 1, Thomas number 2, and Thomas number 1 would lie about the most. Actually, number 2 did too.
Really?
Remember, I was like, I'm never going to date a Thomas again.
Yes.
They're idiots. Oh my gosh. He would lie about the dumbest stuff. I forgot what it was. And it was like stuff that was totally irrelevant. Like it wouldn't even matter. I forgot. It was just so dumb. I think I blocked it on my memory. I'm like, why would you lie about this? Like, there's no reason. If you're lying about stuff like that, what else did they lie about major?
Right.
You know, like, it was like little things. I think what it was. I owned a Hellcat Charger or something like that. It was just a normal Dodge Charger. Like, why are you gonna lie about that?
Yeah.
Monetary things like and I'm like, no, this was not. Dumb stuff.
Hellcats are cool.
They are, but like he didn't have one.
No.
And the
they're
worst
a
thing
lot
was,
more expensive.
this is how dumb he was. He had one in a picture on Facebook.
Oh my gosh.
A Charger.
Yeah.
You could tell the big difference. And I'm like, if you're gonna lie, be good or be good at it. That is the number 1 rule. If you're gonna lie, be good at it. If you're not gonna lie, like be a good person or be good at being bad.
Yeah.
There's no in between. Like, I mean, what an idiot.
I know.
And I always tell her, if you're gonna lie, make it believable. You always stick to. And this is, you know, I'm not okay. So now I say that, you know, like when I date one person. I do now, but in my early 20s, I did not. You know what? I was nice and I was, you know, very nice. Everyone I would date fairly in this, and then guys are just pieces of crap sometimes. So then I got better at it than they were. Like, so that's why when she'll tell me stories, I'm like, no, they're doing this, and this to you because I would do that to men. I didn't care, and that's how I know all this stuff because I used to be a bad person. That's why nowadays I'm like, no. Yeah. And you just get rid of them. But like, I mean, you have to be good or be good at it.
So let's talk about a few other things that have happened that, I mean, I might as well make this the instructional video.
Okay. That's easier. Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things is when you match with somebody and they start a conversation, like I said before, some of them are just interested in conversation for attention. And then I've had this experience, I even had it lately, that they will take you all the way up to making an actual date with you. And then you won't hear from them anymore. They'll disappear from your text.
And that does suck, but don't take it personal. Don't ever take any of this personal.
No. And then the other thing that, this is a red flag for catfishing. And also, even if they're not a catfish, is if they delete themselves, if they delete the conversation, they delete themselves, so they're off your profile. So they deleted the conversation in the app that I have. That means that you no longer can see where they are.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So if they leave it up there, you can just check once in a while. You don't have to tell them, but you can check. Like, I know you live in Boca. How come you spent the night in Boynton Beach all night long, and then you went back to Boca in the morning? Okay. I'm like, because you say, like, when this happened to me. This was the first time this happened. I was like, did you spend and he was like, no, I wasn't with the girl. I'm like, did you spend the night with your boyfriend? I mean, come on. So that's like, so that's really, if somebody does that to me, even somebody did it to me recently that I had dated before, but he did that. I'm like, and I saw that he had lived in another town in my county, but in a town 25 minutes away. Well, he came back up again when I re-signed up. He came back up, and I saw that he was actually in my town on a Thursday morning at 8 o'clock in the morning. Do you know? I asked him because he came back again, and you know what he always says? I'm like, why are you coming back, matching with me again? Oh, I did it accidentally. Yeah, I was just okay. He said he was getting his car washed.
Yeah, 25 minutes away.
25 minutes away. He came all the way out here to get his car washed.
Like you said, men are dumb.
And this guy seems like somebody who is also has some social anxiety and stuff. So I assumed that he was not going to be lying to me because he didn't have that kind of skill set. Well, I was wrong. I was totally wrong. Oh my gosh. He didn't want me. So he didn't want me to see that he either had a girlfriend out here, that he had moved out here, or something was going on.
Something sketchy. Another thing too.
Car wash.
Yeah. Like I said, be good or be good at it. They're idiots. If you're not gonna some of the stuff. So
that was one of my favorites.
If they change, also another thing too on the dating website.
Yeah.
So if you're on like Tinder, Bumble, whatever, and then you guys have been talking for, I would say, at least 2 weeks, or like at least the first week. I mean, if you're getting some deep conversation and it's like whatever, or if you've hung out. If you hung out a couple times and you guys are still on, the thing, because I know it takes a couple weeks for you to have that conversation, like get off the dating website, whatever, give it some leeway, whatever.
Okay.
They changed their profile picture.
Oh, yeah.
They're still actively looking.
Yeah.
They changed their profile picture. It's different if it's like just, if they're still on it, give them some benefit of the doubt because he might be waiting for you to bring it up.
Right.
Give them the bit of it. If it's been like a month and you guys are actively hanging out, maybe at that point say something, but if they change their profile after the first few weeks of hanging out, you guys are actively hanging out now.
Yeah.
Nope.
I've had 2 guys who I have seen other pictures of them, like a picture on Facebook. I've seen a picture on Facebook that I dated a little bit, and I will say to them, oh, that, or they'll show me a picture from their phone. I'll be like, oh, that's a good picture. And the next time I see their profile, that freaking picture is on their profile. It's like, so you take my suggestion and put that on your profile, but you don't want to date me anymore. Somehow, I'm like,
but it's not you. You don't want to. The thing is, you don't want to end up
players.
Yeah,
they're players.
And another thing to remember is you don't want to end up with a person like that.
I know.
Not
but
like,
that just seems like it's just so aggravating.
I
told you this was cute, and now you're on the profile so you can get some other girl. Ooh, yeah.
You're disgusting.
I know. So, well, we have a friend named Nora who did online dating and found herself a great boyfriend. And who knows, maybe they're married by now. I don't know. We don't work together anymore. But she told me, I was asking her, well, what is your, how did you have such success? Because I have not been able to find a boyfriend. Oh my gosh, be careful. So when you say that word. But she did. She had an actual boyfriend. She's younger though. She was, how old was Nora? 30 your age?
I think so,
30? Yeah. So she said, well, I will only text with them for a few days, and then I not demand like in a bad way, but then I have to have a meeting with them because she said I'm not going to waste my time.
No, and that's a good point too.
Yeah,
I think
I don't do that, so now I'm like that too.
Yeah,
let's go within a week.
Yeah, because if they don't want to meet with you, I think, sometimes they might be a little, especially now, they might be a little more cautious, like maybe she wants to get to know me, whatever. But if it's been like almost a week, if there's not a set plan for at least the following week, or if they're out of town and they want to meet when they get back, I think that's understandable. There are some exceptions, but she's right with that.
That's true. There's always an exception. And I've made a mistake, which I'm going to have to record a retraction. But the other thing I was going to say was, what was it? Darn it, it just was on the tip of my tongue. I was going to say another thing that's a red flag. So the deleting themselves from the queue, that's a big, because here's what happened. Except I don't want to tell Catfish that I know this because, when someone deletes themselves from your queue, you can't report them anymore. So a Catfish will, as soon as they get your other phone number, and get off because you can talk to people on the app. As soon as they get your real phone number, so your real text number, they will delete themselves from the app because that way you cannot report them.
Gotcha.
Once you find out that they're a catfish or they're doing something sketchy, you can't report them because the information's gone. So that's why that's such a big red flag. I don't know. I've only been actually stood up one time.
If you get stood up, I don't personally give them other chances. I get.
No, or even if they cancel, not always, but in general, if they make a date with you and then they cancel that first date, I'm out. Because I just am. Because the reasons I've been given were like, oh, well, I have to, my kids need school supplies. And,
if it's a dumb reason like that.
Really, you could have done that in the morning. You could have done it.
Well, I think if it's emergency and then maybe if they
you have to kind of feel it, I think.
Yeah, you'll feel it. You'll know if it's an emergency, but they're actually contacting you and like talking to you still and being like, I'm so sorry. Let's do something, like I'm free this day. Let's do something. I want to make it up to you. I think that's understandable. You'll usually be able to feel the situation out. Yeah.
I had some guy that messed with me twice. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Oh, the players and the playboys, but mostly either one. They are always going out of town. Yeah. Always going out of town, or they are out of town, or they're going out of town. So you can draw your own conclusions why that is. Yeah. Very sketchy. Yeah. Always. They're always going. I'm not kidding you. It's like 100% of the time. I'm going out of town. Okay.
Yeah.
Goodbye. Yeah.
They are the worst. Yeah. Well, that website you're on, that one's the worst out of all the dating websites I've tried.
But I've tried other ones and they were like one was so many catfish. It was like 3 catfish 2 days.
Oh, I believe that. Yeah. I think, dating in general, you're definitely going to get, and it's frustrating. Like, I mean, we've called each other a million times, just like, and everybody we know is finding relationships, finding this, whatever. But
yes,
it's another point I like to.
Some people we knew, one girl's getting ready to have a baby.
Yeah.
She found her boyfriend online.
But
he was the 3rd guy she dated.
Oh, really?
Yes.
But
I think it was on eHarmony or Match, right?
Oh yeah, I have no
Those
idea.
are more serious, but I never had any. I had never had any luck with Match.
Well, another thing that
and eHarmony cost too much money for
yeah.
I'm not that desperate.
Well, that's another thing. My best friend, I've been friends with her since we were 16. She's married. She's been, no, not 16. We've been friends before that, but she's been married for a very long time. And both, I think Mary Beth and I have both been through the ringer with online dating, just like this situation, stuff like that. And I'm just like, and we always tell each other this, like there's nothing with us. It's not us being wrong, because there's been great guys that we just weren't interested back.
Of course.
So it's not because we're, there's always, and that's okay too. You're allowed not to like somebody. Don't just settle because they're a nice person and you think you should be with them. Yeah. But back to the point of this.
Right.
So I have a friend of mine. We both went through a 2-year relationship, bad situation, and it ended very, very badly. And we both, dealt with it accordingly, whatever. She ended up, the first guy that she dated, she's now married.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So and like, I'm happy because they're a wonderful couple. I love, seeing that, whatever. Yeah. But imagine going through the worst breakthrough in my life, watching her fall in love. I was the third wheel. Like it was harsh, but what my other best friend that's been married forever, she's like, yeah, but because I was like, oh, her husband's great, whatever. She's like, yeah, but you wouldn't want to be with him, so yeah, she's willing to accept more. So think about that person might be willing to accept more than you are too. Right. So,
I think some people settle.
I think a lot of people settle. Not saying that she did in particular. She got lucky. She found her guy. They dated in college. There was that too. Nice. But some people do settle. Like maybe our coworker that's now pregnant settled. Like think of the people they're with. Do you know what I mean? Like not saying he's bad. I'm not saying anything bad about the person, but it's like, think of, okay, like this person found that person, got married, and they're like this, that, and the other. It's like, they might've settled. That guy could have a weird habit of like feet or something like that.
Oh yes. That was the first time I ever got that. Yeah. People ask you about
the people have weird fetishes, and you find out a lot. And they're not afraid of that. Like any age, sometimes they're more direct. Like I like this, whatever. Yeah. But, so think about that. Like you see your friends settling down or happily married. Social media is not always true. Happily married when they're out in couples. Cause I know the 2 years I was with that person, I was not happy, and we were, happy out. So there, you got to think about that. They might not be 100% happy. So it's not, don't take it at face value. Think about, you go out and you see other couples all happy. No, hopefully they are, but more than likely, probably not. He's probably cheating on her. She's probably cheating on him, something like that. You got to think like that. Like it's not all, the grass is not always green on the other side. So
that's true. Yeah, that's true. I'm not really willing to settle anymore. No, that's probably my problem.
Well, that's a good thing. And I always tell her the same thing. I go, you shouldn't have to settle. Right. There's not anything wrong with you, and you shouldn't have to settle. You always have to, you know what I mean? Yeah. But like, you have to tell yourself and remind yourself that there is nothing wrong with you. Even if you think that there's something wrong with you, okay, like maybe you walk weird, you do this, whatever, it doesn't matter. Like there's nothing wrong with you. Somebody will like you that way.
That's true. You do say that. That's
it's one thing to do, because like we all have weird habits. We're all human. We're allowed to have emotions. We're allowed to do things. We're allowed to make dumb mistakes, and don't ever keep harping on yourself for making bad dating decisions. Yeah. So that's the thing, like, laugh at it.
Oh, yes, because I was like a babe in the woods. I really didn't know what I was doing. Yeah. I made a lot of mistakes or got caught up in stuff that now I'd be like,
yeah. And then you can't be too hard on yourself. Okay. Yeah. Allow yourself to sit in your shit for a little bit, reflect on it, and then move forward. And then now laugh at it, because everyone's made bad dating decisions.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But we are willing to talk about it.
Yes.
This is why we're on doing this. We're willing to talk about it so that no one has to feel alone or isolated or clueless, or they don't understand or bad about themselves, because online dating sucks.
It's terrible. And you're allowed to mess up. Yeah. Hey, I mean, we've all, everybody has made a bad dating decision. Like everybody.
sure.
Oh gosh.
Oh my gosh. And I've known people that have gotten, so I'll just, this one lady, the very first lady I ever knew, I think that was doing online dating. Um, she lived in Canada and the guy lived in Palm Beach. Okay, so now people know where I, well, anyway, so anyway, so she got divorced
Mhm.
and met this guy online, moved her 3 children from Canada all the way here to Florida, and was living in Palm Beach. It's very wealthy. So she thought he had a lot of money, you know, and could give her experiences and things that she didn't have before. And one day she comes home and he's like moving out of their house and she's like, "What's up?" He's like, "Well, this house belongs to my mother. She doesn't want me here anymore." He had no money, no house. He was completely not, he was a completely the opposite of everything he had told her. And she fell for it. She had no idea.
Mhm.
So yeah, that really scared me. That thing really
Yeah,
scared
and
me.
you know it will happen to people,
Yeah.
but you have to remember, like, you'll be okay. You'll get through it.
Yeah, well, I'm just going to do everything I can to make sure that doesn't happen.
Definitely be precautious. Definitely get to know the
Yeah.
person first. If you can do long distance,
Oh my
visit them a
gosh.
lot. Talk to their friends. Talk to
Tell me
friends'
you want to see the
girlfriends.
deed to their house.
Yeah,
I want
that's
to
a
see
good one
your
too.
name. Yeah.
Yeah.
And your car and
Yep.
your phone. Like crackhead. One time I looked up and his phone was registered to some random weird name I never heard him use
Yeah.
before. Did not his last name. Something like, what is this?
Yeah, if they're using fake anything, that's a bad situation.
Mhm.
And you know, like sometimes, like, if I don't know, they after the first few dates, they should tell you pretty much the truth about everything, or at least,
Yeah.
you know, because it
Or
does.
stop exaggerating.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh, that's the worst.
Yeah. Like don't say they own a Hellcat.
Idiot.
I know, because here's and also if you give someone enough rope, eventually they'll hang themselves.
Exactly.
So you just have to wait it out, and
Yeah.
eventually they'll do it. And like, because you'll start. Here's what happens to me. I'll start to get like uneasy feelings.
Oh
like,
yeah,
that
your gut
doesn't sound
always trust your
right.
intuition.
That's, yeah. What? Maybe they said this thing. It's like, no, I don't think somebody should really say that to me right now, or whatever. And then eventually, if you wait it out, eventually you'll be like,
Yeah.
okay, well, I really was right. You'll be validated
Mhm.
for sure.
Oh yeah, and
But,
that just
yeah.
gets you to respect your gut feeling and
Yeah.
actually use it. I mean,
Oh.
there's times where we both don't, and we sit there like,
Well, he's really cute.
yep. Oh,
Yeah.
we love doing that.
So there, I will tell you the another late thing that happened to me too was that I was talking to this model guy, and I said, I said, or he was, I don't know why, how this came up. He said this. It was not solicited compliment. Oh, okay. Well, let me back up. Okay. So we were talking, I don't know how this came up, but I told him I don't watch pornography. Okay. So I don't watch pornography.
Okay.
I don't, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs. I don't watch pornography. I try to keep it really clean. Okay. I might like bad boys, but I try to keep it really clean. Anyway, so he says to me, oh, like well, first he started making references to a lot of stuff. And I'm like, I don't like that.
Sexual references,
I didn't like
bad
that.
red flag.
No. So, but then that was kind of went away a little bit. I mean, I only actually knew him for a week. A lot happened in a week.
Yeah.
Okay. That kind of went away a little bit. But then one night he says so then I was talking about, I don't watch that stuff. And he's like, I don't either. I'm like, okay. So then a couple nights later, he tells me that I'm beautiful, like a porn star.
Okay, oh my gosh.
If you don't watch pornography, why are you comparing me? And I'm like, ooh, porn stars aren't beautiful. Ew. Yeah, wasn't that creepy? That was creepy.
That's another thing too. If they're doing any kind of sexual references before you've met,
yes, then that's what they're looking for.
Yeah,
they're looking for a booty call. Yeah.
I think it's fine when you're dating somebody. You can be like, that's fine when you're dating somebody already having sex with them. That's when it's okay.
I don't do
that. I know. But I think which
drives a lot of people away, which is another reason why I'm single. You tell guys I don't do that stuff, and they're like, see ya.
But the right guy will wait. That's the thing. It's like the right guy will wait because they think you're worth it. That's, and That's another thing. When I first came out of the serious relationship, I was like, oh my gosh, because like I stayed with that person a lot longer than I should have because they loved me. Oh, they loved obsessed. And so like it's nice having a person that will never leave you, will never do anything like that because they're so in love with you. So when I left him, I was like, oh, no one's gonna be that obsessed with me. Oh, yes, they are. Yes, they are. There's a million of them out there that'll love you like that, and you just won't love them back. You'll eventually love one back. Yeah, you'll eventually love one back. But you have to remind yourself that like, oh, somebody's gonna think your shit doesn't stink. They'll love you. And gosh.
Yeah, you just have to be patient.
And that's why you just have to remind yourself but those types of men help you because then it gives you confidence. So when you go out there, like you go out on a date and some guy's being a jerk, you're like, I don't need this. Somebody else is gonna like me. Like, bye. On to the next one. Yeah, it's like that's true. Conveyor belt.
You don't ever have to feel desperate.
Never feel desperate.
Or like because that's going to be the last one you'll ever talk like.
Absolutely not. No, unless you're sure.
Yeah. So, do we have anything else to add? There's probably more. I missed something. Well, we have more stories, that's for sure.
Oh gosh. But, I don't know. I think just the best thing to do is have self-confidence. Make a list of things you're not willing to accept. And then another thing that helps when you're trying to get rid of that person, even though if you do like them, it's better. Make a list of things you don't like about that person or that are really bad red flags. That's a helpful thing if you're breaking up with somebody. But yeah, just be very self-aware. And
just because I was thinking about who you had me make a list for. So there was a guy that kind of broke my heart. He wouldn't do it now. I wouldn't let him break, but back then again, I was new at dating. And so you had me make a list of things I didn't like or the things that weren't so good about him. Yeah. So that which kind of helped. But
there's a red flag I want to
there's a red flag
I want to show.
Wait. I was gonna say something about him. That it turns out he's a real player, or serious player, because it turned out I thought there might be other women, but when I saw him again a year later and I questioned him because at that point I didn't care. And he's like, yeah, I was, going out with other women, having choice of other women. I'm like, oh my gosh. But the thing is with players, the reason that they're so enticing is because they really have like these great personalities at first. So if you meet somebody who's like super charming and they never trip over their words, they don't seem nervous, they've got it all, they've got this good game, you need to be really careful. Yeah. And they're good looking, which is a reason why they get away with this.
Not all the time, though. Sometimes it's one of the ugliest ones.
Oh, well, I don't talk to ugly men.
Okay, I'm just saying, there was one guy that I dated who thought his shit did not stink. And he was not, I even told him that I didn't even know why I dated him.
Okay, so tell him about your favorite red flag.
Oh, number one red flag. If a guy is over 40 and he's a DJ, run. Oh my gosh, what a loser. If they're a DJ and they're not famous or whatever, living with their parents at 40 at a DJ, like, I'm 30. I've never found DJs attractive. Sometimes people do, and that's great. Good for you. But they're probably more established DJs. It's different if they, they run their own show. There's something like that. They work at a radio station, but playing their own songs, and like for you, oh my god, it's the most disgusting thing ever. Red flag. Because think of it this way, they're
forehead itches. Yeah, go ahead.
They're gonna try to meet women, they're trying to get people to clubs and stuff. Well,
that fits with his personality. Was perfect.
Yeah, he's such a loser. And
he had a crappy apartment, which I was gonna overlook.
Well, and that's another thing too, is like, gosh, I know we all
I'm gonna shout out, hey Jason, I'm talking about you.
Yeah. Hey, Jason, you're a loser. Get a job. That you tell Jason that. And I'm somebody, the age he tries to go after, like, no, we all think you're a loser. All of my friends think you're losers. And if you even hear any kind of inclination of that, one of my friends was talking, they found out the guy was a DJ. I was like, oh my gosh, who was it? We were making fun of it too. I forgot. It's not cool. It's not, unless you're a DJ Khaled or somebody famous, or if you have an actual job at a nice club, okay, like whatever. If you have, clout, but if you're, no, that's some guy that's like,
I didn't know this. Go ahead.
Yeah, you didn't know. You're new into dating, and so like she always says, find somebody that's been around dating, and they'll tell you like, no, that's not cute. Like that's not cool. Especially, and that's another good thing. It is to talk to younger people, because even my age, I could talk to somebody younger. Like, that's not cool if they're doing this, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That was funny. She would always, every time I'd bring him up, and she'd be like, he's a DJ.
I hope you watch this just for that.
I know. I want to the only thing, I don't have any contact information for him anymore, but I do know where he works, which is a really lame job. Actually, his job's kind of lame.
Yeah.
But I would like to tell him, because he was so cocky when I told him that he was going to be the subject of one of my podcasts. He's like, oh, I'll come on your podcast.
I would love for him to come on when I'm here, and then like I will get a whole group of women to make him cry.
Oh, what would you say to him? I'm like, well, I don't know what I would even
I would
talk
just
to
look
him
at him
about.
like, you're a loser. What are you, a DJ? I've seen your butt naked because Mary Beth sent me a picture of it. Not that
Really?
cute.
Oh, thank you. I forgot I had that. I'm sorry.
You're gonna edit that out.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that part's edited out. No, I would say a lot of funny things. Or I mean, just somebody like that. Like players. The thing is, players are players because somebody scored them enough to make them a player. So you have to. That's another thing to remember too.
Yeah, that's true.
Somebody did screw them over enough to make them a player, because no one's a player just the hell of it. I mean, some people are, but you can tell those types. They're just full of themselves because they've always been good looking, whatever. But there's a reason. Just like why, I mean, how you're hardened up to where now, because you've been dealt that hand, like exactly, you've been played so many times and now you're hard. So same with me. There's a reason, like everyone's had those experiences to make them like that. So somebody, and you know what the funny thing is, for those players, it's probably some really ugly chick.
Well, I'll tell you what happened. He told me what happened to him, but also they like to play on your heartstrings so that they soften you up that way. He said that when I think he was in, because now he was in his late 40s, but when he was in his 20s and 30s, he lived with a girl for a while and she got pregnant. And she told him that she was going to go over and tell her ex. He never saw her again.
Oh my gosh.
No, okay, that was one. Okay, then there was another story. There's another one. Okay, so that was one. The other one was that there was a girl he was living with. I think this is the one that really broke his heart. Mm-hmm. And she also got pregnant. So there was these two girls. So she got pregnant too, and she had an abortion because she didn't want to have a baby.
Yeah, by a DJ.
And then she cheated on him, got married to that guy, and had like 2 kids.
That's great.
Oh my gosh.
But I mean, it's not great. That's terrible. But like,
yeah.
I wonder what she looked like. She probably looked like a warlock.
I have no idea. He said he mostly dates women with brown hair. So I was assuming she had brown hair. I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was kind of sad. I mean, that would be sad. Of course,
it's
sad.
What
about when she went to see her ex and never showed up?
Oh, that's good.
That's a good one.
Oh,
but the other one was unfortunate.
And it sucks, and but now he's a jerk about it. This thing is like
now he uses women.
Exactly.
Because he said, no, I'm never going to get my heart broken again because I'm never giving anyone my heart. And then the next thing he says, oh, I'm interested in somebody. I'm like, does she know?
Yeah. Well, and that's another thing too, is like, being played a couple times, you could choose one or two ways, either harden and be smarter about it, but still openly, give yourself and whatever, like within reason, like, get to know somebody. But I think you should go into it like that versus what are you gonna be stuck at 50 something, never married, no kids, like living in your mom's house. Like that's what's gonna happen to the people that do that. And so remind yourself when you do get screwed over by a player or something like that, just like you're gonna end up happy, not them. Because you're actively trying. I tell you that all the time. You're gonna end up happy because you're a good person. You're trying. As long as you're going to it with a good heart, then
Yeah.
And then some guys are just, and also another thing too, some guys are just fun to date.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not gonna
happen. Don't take it too seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. Oh yeah. So you're right. A lot of these players like Crackhead and whatever, this guy, they'll be like, well, I don't want to end up alone. So my question always is, well, when do you think when you're 70, you're going to be able to go like, hey, baby, come on. Like, when are you going to start that? It's so, they like, don't make any sense to me. Like, if you're not starting in that at 50, if you're not trying to find somebody at 50, you think you're going to find somebody like later on that anybody, like, what are you talking about?
You're not. And they'll end up alone. That's why I always tell her, like,
I know,
they're never going to be happy. And some people like that are never going to be happy. So
it's true.
there's no
Yeah.
point, you know?
But the reason they don't do it is because they're afraid to.
Mhm.
And that goes back to what we were saying before, that men are really much more sensitive.
Way
That's what
more
I learned.
sensitive.
It's much more sensitive than
Yeah.
we think, and much more sensitive and less resilient than we are.
Oh, absolutely.
Women are so much more, they're
Mhm.
so much stronger, because women will keep going back and they won't become, so hardened. But like you said, but men will be like, nope, I'm going to be single. I'm just going to
Yeah.
live my single life. Ugh, how
Another thing too is
how
like,
unfulfilling, or how kind of boring or something.
well, and eventually they'll fall for somebody and get screwed over getting serious.
Yeah,
Karma always comes around too. I told you
that's true.
it does.
That's
It's
true.
I was gonna say, yeah, karma does come around a lot, but nothing too is like I've dated a lot of guys that like have this hard exterior, like, oh, I'm a big manly man.
Yeah.
They're the biggest ones, the biggest babies of them all.
That is
As
true.
soon as they start like putting that guard down, like
That is true.
oh yeah, like
That's true. Because one time I saw Crackhead. Okay, I didn't call him that. But anyway, one time I saw Crackhead, like he was holding this bag and he looked like a little boy.
mm-hmm.
And I remember thinking, please stop, stop, because I can't. It was like heartbreaking, because
Yeah.
he had to be such a tough guy,
Mm-hmm.
such a, I mean, like to the max tough guy. And then here he was really so vulnerable.
Yeah, and most of them
Oh
are,
my
and that's why they
gosh.
put on that hard exterior. So that's why I always say, give
Yeah.
them that time to open up to you, because when they do, it could actually be pretty fulfilling, And
Yeah.
that would be. That's why I say always.
You can never get to that point with them. A lot of them will.
Some of them
they'll
you
dip
can't get
out,
to.
or you find out that they're dating a bunch of other women.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not.
Well, yeah, but then there's the ones that have a hard exterior, but that are good people.
Yeah.
That you need to like give time with. I mean, there's been a lot of situations where I'm like, ugh, I don't, get rid of them for some little stupid thing, and then I keep pushing. But I'm like, okay, not too bad.
Yeah.
When they open up, it's like the big.
Men are people too.
Oh gosh, dumb. They're dumb.
Is there anything else that you can? What was the first thing you said to me when you came in the door? You're like, the number one thing. What was it that you said?
Oh gosh, we have terrible memory.
I know.
I just think to remember to respect yourself. Dating sucks. Everyone goes through it. Don't be too hard on yourself. Also, everyone makes mistakes. Just try to remember the red flags. Make lists of things that you won't accept. That's a good one to do. And that way, the sooner the better. Just get rid of them. Don't keep. If it's a serious red flag, like say aggression or like I don't know, like whatever red flag you picked, I would just get rid of them. Don't do it. Another thing, you don't always have to have the last word.
Yes,
Some,
you do.
Some people, and that's okay if your personality is like that. I tell her all the time. She's the type of person she needs an explanation of why stuff didn't work out, this, that, and the other. I'm the type of person.
I don't usually get it, but it's nice when you
and then some people need to say the last word, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm the type of person, I'll just ghost. I don't care.
I'm against ghosting.
Which is good. Everyone has
my generation compared to your generation.
Well, I mean, if someone asks me for explanation and they're a nice person, I will absolutely give it to them. But if it's some Thomas number one, I ghosted both Thomases actually because they were jerks. So like I just remember I just stopped replying, and I didn't care because I just didn't think they deserved enough respect for me to reply. But
yeah. I look at it the other way. Like you do that ghosting. I'd rather be like, guess what? You're a jerk and goodbye.
Yeah.
But you're just like, you just ghost them.
But
I don't know which one. I think mine is just as bad as ghosting.
No, exactly. So like, that's why another good thing to keep in mind is not everyone does it the same way. So when you're talking to a girlfriend, take the advice with an open mind, just don't always do exactly what they talk. Actually speak to multiple girlfriends, get multiple perspectives. Cause we're all going to have different opinions on stuff. And
it's true.
At the end of the day, do what you want to do. That's why.
Because you have to feel the situation.
Exactly.
Because they haven't actually been there and
they know more.
That's why phone calls are better than texting, and in person is better than phone calls.
Yeah.
So you can get a real feel for what's going on.
Yeah, and so like you're all gonna get all the advice that you want, but do what you want to do at the end of the day. Don't let somebody pressure you.
I know what you said. Do as I do, don't do.
Oh yeah, yeah. So every time she asks me for advice, I give pretty good advice. But I don't always make the best dating decisions. So that's why I always say, do as I say, not as I do. Because I'll tell her all the time, like, oh, you shouldn't do this and this. And then she's like, why aren't you doing? I'm like, yes, I say all the time, don't do what I do. And I'll sit there and tell her sometimes when I'm dating somebody, I really shouldn't do this, but whatever, I'm bored right now. So why not? Why not make a bad dating decision? And that's okay too, if you really just want to, like, but at least you go into it with the mindset of, this probably should not work out.
Yeah, I think the point of that is kind of don't invest too much too soon. That way,
Yeah.
because somebody said to me, or guys will say to me, well, why have you had so much experience with players or playboys or whatever? And I say, because I'm willing to keep taking a chance on a lot of people.
Mhm.
Like a lot, some people just do like, they'll just have 1 or 2 or 3 experiences or whatever. But I'm willing to like meet a bunch of new people, and let's just keep them coming.
Why not?
Just keep them coming.
Yeah.
So that's why it's a numbers game.
Yeah.
And if you see more people, you're going to be played more, or whatever.
Yeah. And don't ever let someone, oh my gosh, there's a good quote. Sorry. Don't ever let someone make you lose your easygoingness or like your open heart to that. Like just because some guy screwed you over doesn't mean the next one, if they keep doing it, then they're not good people. Just don't ever let somebody make you feel bad about yourself.
Yeah.
That's another thing. It's like you have the power to do that. Don't make some jerk make you feel bad about yourself.
Right. And that's true. You really have to develop that attitude early, because online dating can really mess with your head.
It will. And you just have to remind yourself that you're a great person as long as you're actively trying. Don't ever let them make you feel like you deserve less too. Because you deserve the best, and you should remind yourself that you do deserve the best.
I have to say, you're really good at that.
Yeah.
You really, Julie self-esteem has really been a good example for me.
Yeah,
really has.
Honestly, like, and you're getting great with it too, because it's like at the end of the day, like you deserve the best, and don't settle just because you're lonely.
Yeah.
Get a hobby.
Yeah. Yeah. And how I can tell that I've gotten better, because I did used to worry about being lonely. And one of the things that I always thought my whole life was, I don't want to die alone. And I realized in this last week, I don't care if I die alone. So that's a good step toward not putting up with crap and people's stupid stuff, and just being like, I don't need that. It's better for me to be, if I end up alone, I end up alone. Yeah. But I have, I have a family and all that kind of stuff. Everybody does.
Yeah, you get love in so many different forms.
That's true.
You could always feel love. It does.
Yes, that love counts too.
I'd much rather be single than in some of the relationships my girlfriends are in. I say that all the time. Like, can you imagine, like, no.
For sure.
Think about that too. You need to think like, I'd much rather be alone, because I love being alone. It's nice having a person that you care about, but no one's asking where you're going. No one's, all this stuff like that. It's nice to have somebody, but at the end of the day, think about, it's good to be with the right person, or with somebody that complements your lifestyle and is bettering your life. Don't ever go with somebody that's making your life worse, make it better. Or, you need to love yourself first. That's another thing. You can't be with somebody just for validation.
Yeah, that's true. That's an important thing to work on, to prepare yourself.
Yeah. If you don't love yourself, you can't love somebody else.
Right. Yeah.
I love myself too much, I think.
That's okay. So, well, I guess we should wrap it up.
Yeah.
We'll probably make 2 or 3 ones out of this, which is great. So I want to thank, I hope so. So this is, I've been so happy to have my friend Julie here today. I was so lucky that, like I said before, that we got to work together. I got to know her. She's helped me out a lot.
You've helped me out a lot too.
She keeps me laughing and happy. She always sends me funny things from Instagram stuff. or whatever. It's great. Especially thinking about red flags. We've sent a lot of things about red flags. Yeah. So I hope that you'll leave any comments that you have, and that we've helped you today, and that you'll come back again next time. Yep. This is Mary Beth Rosebrough, and this is my podcast, Rediscover. Thanks, Julie. Today's episode concludes my conversations with my friend Julie. As you can see, having a young friend is a good way to stay young and hip. I really appreciated all the fun she's brought to my life and all the information she has filled me with, so that I wasn't totally clueless and just dancing in the dark when it came to online dating. I hope that she's helped you too. And next episode, I will do a online dating recap of everything that we talked about in this 2-hour-long interview so that you'll have it in one organized episode. But in the meantime, I hope you enjoyed our stories. I know that I enjoyed having Julie with me, and I'm just so grateful for how she has made my life so much fun at this stage of life. And I, again, encourage you to find a young friend. My children also help me to stay a little more current. And it's been great. So this is Mary Beth Rosebrough. This is Rediscover, and I'll see you next time.